Okay. We're talking about the 50s and Cali records, and as far as you know, Henry, were there any records put out in Cali in the early 50s, or is that?
Well, Burl was from Cali.
Right, but I mean that was probably 62 that he would come on, 60. And John had a record come out in 61. Do you remember any in the 50s that came out?
I listened to the. No, it didn't. Dear John. When was that? That was Fuzzy and Bonnie.
Yeah.
Well, that was Gene and
Gene Shepard and Perla, but they leased that after.
So that was a Louis Talley record then.
Yeah, after all the Cali.
Okay.
Bonnie about 55. Huh? I thought they'd come in about 50.
It was pretty late, yeah, pretty early. I mean, quite a while ago now. But I came here in 57, I think they'd already done it. I'm not sure now.
I think that might be right. What was the first real Bakersfield record that you guys ever remember? Or
the only one that got close and didn't hit was one of Lewis's Kathleen.
Kathleen. Okay.
Got so close to a hit and it didn't make it. Who's that? Wally Lewis, remember Wally? He had a foot of voice about that wide, about a yard wide. Oh, he could sing.
What year was that?
Must have been late 50s or early 60s. I mean, like 59 up to 61, something like that.
That would. So those two, like Dear John and then Kathleen.
Yeah.
Any more?
That's all.
Is there any by Billy or?
Naturally, Merle's song, Sing
Yeah.
That song.
Yeah.
That come up there real good.
Yeah.
When did Bill have Who by the Line?
I think that was the 50s.
Yeah.
That was the 50s because I've got it on a Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, but if I was on the record, I was playing.
Okay. Was that out of Capitol or was that?
Yeah, I was out of Captain.
Yeah. But
Cali, I don't think he didn't have that many really, did he, John?
Who?
Singers? Cali records.
No.
the real West Coast sound probably was Capitol Records, man. And
All of us thought so.
Yeah.
I thought Capitol Records won.
Yeah.
Frank Thompson was one of their big stars. He had that Western twang sound.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever hear the story about Nat King Cole came down there one time in the Capitol and somebody made a disparaging remark about all the hillbilly music and stuff, and he said, "You better thank your lucky stars. They're the ones keeping this label alive, and they can play." It was like, because he was on Capitol too. You know,
Yeah, Hank Kenny's one. Had us coming down.
Oh, was Hank Kenny the producer?
Yeah.
Okay. And was Cliffy Stone before then, or did Cliffy produce there at Capitol, or he was just an A&R guy that was scout talent, or what?
I don't know. I mean, Cliff and Billy, when they were playing with me, they used to take off.
Bill Woods or Billy Nye?
Billy
Nye.
Billy Nye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Went down to 55.
Okay.
Now I have to get somebody to play.
Yeah.
And while they was on.
Let's see. Any stories about working with Hank Kenny or with Ken Nelson or anything that was funny or or yeah, I've heard. If you don't have anything like that, I've also heard that Ken Nelson pretty much just did the technical end and let you guys. He didn't direct. He just said,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hank Kenny was on the record.
Well, he was a comic, wasn't he?
Oh,
Besides being a great singer.
Oh, yeah, he was a comic.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
I don't know.
I don't know when Hank came from.
I know he had a restaurant.
I never met Hank.
I met him. In fact, I played several deals with him out at the park.
Yeah. Here in town?
Yeah.
Our park?
Yeah. He'd have a big deal out there.
Are we doing it?
Yeah. I'm just checking it. Let me make sure on this one. Keep going. So when you go into Capitol, or you ever play 4-Star too, or?
No, I just did that one thing with Billy.
Uh huh.
And
which was Who by the Line?
Fool by the Wine.
Yeah. Okay. And now.
Yeah, well, he did another song, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Must have been a B-side.
yeah, I didn't know the piece of it. I just
Okay. Let's see. Going into the Lucky Spot. What were some of the things that would happen? I know the barrel house is pretty wild. Was Lucky Spot pretty wild?
Yeah, that was.
Back in them days, they was all wild.
Yeah, they was a lot of fights going on.
Yeah.
I heard somebody. Well, I guess it was. I heard Buck talking the other day. Said, he said, oh, there was a fight every once in a while.
Blackboard, yeah.
Yeah, the blackboard. I saw him on TV saying that. So, yeah,
Oh yeah, that's on that film we made.
Yeah. He said, it's.
But it wasn't that bad a place, really.
Well, no.
It was
The
well
blackboard
controlled.
and the Lucky Spot wasn't either.
No, it was controlled.
Yeah.
Controlled fight.
That lady would grab that one cat. He didn't care whether he's right or wrong and throw him out.
Yeah.
Then he'd find out who was wrong,
Yeah.
and if the one he throwed out was in the right, he'd let him back in and throw the other guy out. He would.
Wow. Okay. But what? Who did you play with through the years when you were at the Lucky Spot?
Lucky Spot.
Everybody.
Well, let's see. We had, as I said before, the first band I had there was Gene Mose and Cliff Crawford,
Yeah.
Jimmy Wright on the drums, and we didn't have a bass.
Yeah.
At that time, they didn't use bass.
Yeah.
You just used rhythm, and now you couldn't hardly play without a bottom
Yeah.
bass.
Yeah.
Drummies wasn't
And
enough
then-
bass drum.
And then we had Fuzzy Owens played with me there a while, and then Billy Mize played steel with me a while, and Red Simpson has played there a while,
Yeah.
and you played there a while
Yeah.
with us on the drums, and
Ray Heath,
yeah, Ray
he
Heath
played drums.
played, and who's that guy that?
Brody,
Oh, had the
drummer.
it was drum-
Red Butler.
No,
No.
had the seizures.
Had the what?
Seizures. Remember that kid?
No.
Yeah. Well, I can't hardly say that over this.
Seizures ain't a bad word.
I cannot think of him. But he lived out in Lamont area.
Oh, Mel King.
Yeah, Mel
Mel
King.
King.
Mel King.
He worked for Buck too later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, naturally, Merle Haggard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Did you? Well, just taking Merle around, what was he like in those days?
Oh, he was the nicest guy you ever saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't say anything against Merle.
Fishing
I-
nut.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he loved to fish. I remember when we went to Fallon that time, we walked that Walker Lake up there.
Yeah.
Man, he liked to have a fit. He said, I've got to come back to this, He was a fishing nut.
What about Tommy Collins? Did you play with him or?
No, I've just been around where Tommy was.
Yeah. Was he as funny on stage as he is on records?
Yeah, I really like him. He at one time he wanted to be a preacher,
Yeah.
and he did that for a while, and he said the good Lord had let him starve to death, so he came back.
Really?
That's what he said. That the good Lord had let him starve to death. And so he came back to,
And honky tonk music.
honky tonk music. Oh,
He gave him a chance. He tried.
yeah.
And from what I hear, he was a good one. Preacher. I don't know if he was or not, but I just heard he was.
Wow.
I remember when he was still a preacher, he would never tell a bad joke.
Yeah.
But he'd come up and tell about that. He was telling about that guy that was he studied, this guy stuttered and he was riding in this airplane. And this air hostess come around and he stopped and he said, say, what if that motor out there went out? Oh, she said, we just find a emergency field or something, you know. And he said, well, what happened to the other one went out? And she said, well, we get her chutes on, bail out. And she said, if it happened like that, there'd be a red light come on up above. She pointed up. And he looked up and he said, well, look, it's on. And so she gets everybody bailed out of the plane, and all that's left is just him and her. She said, of course, I know that you've never jumped out of a plane before, because this is the first time you ever rode one. No, he said, I know. Well, he said, I'll tell you what, all you have to do, see this ripcord, you jump out and you count to 10, and you pull that ripcord. And he thinks about it a minute, and he said, well, okay. He said, but you go first. So she jumps out, and she gets herself, her chute opens and everything. She keeps looking up for him. She keeps looking up for him. And all of a sudden, he was coming right down the side of him, you know. And as he went by, she heard him say, toot.
I knew that was the
Toot.
Let's see.
That's one of the jokes he told them.
Mm-hmm. Well, clean.
Yeah, it's clean. He wouldn't tell anything.
Okay. Your favorite all-time song that ever came out of Bakersfield was probably a Merle song or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the best song that I ever heard, Merle, and he seems to think it was the best thing he ever written. I think I heard him say it one time. Today I started loving you.
Yeah, I agree. Any others that stand out?
Opie from Muskogee.
Yeah.
Always Opie from Muskogee.
Yeah. Let's see. What about can you tell me a little bit about Bill Woods or Billy Mize and what they've meant to the music here and about Henry and what he's meant and
Well, naturally, Bill Woods is truly one of my best friends. And I think Bill always thought I had a little talent too. You know?
Yeah.
And as I said before, when I lived in Tehachapi, before I moved to Bakersfield, he used to come up and play with us. And we got some real nice shirts and everything up there. There wasn't too much in it, but he got some nice shirts and worked up there. And
Dressed up like a band.
yeah. I just can't say enough about Bill. I mean, about being a good musician. Played a lot of instruments.
Yeah.
And just a fine guy. That's all there is to it. I can't say nothing about that Bill Woods.
Do you remember any records that he wrote that were part of that came out on Tally or anything or?
I don't remember anything Bill Woods wrote.
I know we have some on the tapes. You mentioned a couple of them. Okay. Let's see. Any stories about Red Simpson?
Well,
Lots of them. The boot polishing deal, where he polished Tex Ritter's boots.
I never heard that one.
Yeah, he told that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wrong color on Texas boots.
Yeah, he ruined them when he was a little kid.
Oh man, I can't say anything against Red Simpson either. He's a
Hell of a songwriter.
hell of a songwriter and a great talent.
Yeah.
I go over ever so often
Yeah.
and listen to him at the senior Rasmussen's
Yeah.
out here in Oildale.
Yeah.
And he plays out there for those senior citizens.
Yeah.
And just a super talent.
Yeah.
I mean, he can entertain anywhere.
Yeah.
He can.
You talk about pantomime. That I used to do some things with him in Ridgecrest.
Yeah.
We go up there, you know.
Yeah.
And he'd do some other comics
Yeah.
stuff, and then I mean he was right on it.
Wow.
He was good. He was good.
When you were working at the Lucky Spot, were you doing other work too?
Yeah, that's let's see. For 11 years, I worked 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And that was when it was really rough.
Wow. So you had a day job or something?
Yeah, I was driving a milk truck.
Wow.
I knew there was a milk truck in there somewhere. You were down there at that Carnation Company, wasn't it?
No,
By size? Used to be size?
no, Challenge.
Challenge, yeah.
Peacock first.
Yeah, Peacock, yeah.
Peacock. When I went to work there, it was the Peacock,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was switching over to Medigold.
Yeah.
Then from Medigold it went to Challenge.
Uh-huh.
How many hours a night did you sleep?
Well, I would come home from work on the milk route, say,
Yeah.
and be
Yeah.
be about 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'd have a little bite to eat, and I'd go to bed, and I wouldn't get up till 8.
Yeah.
I had to be on the bandstand at 9.
Yeah.
I'd get on the bandstand, and I'd stay there till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Quarter till 2 is when we quit,
Right.
and I was married to Eunice at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and she was a head bar waitress,
Yeah.
and so she had to clean up and so on. I had to be back to work. Had to be to work at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So I'd go to bed at say 3 o'clock in the morning, and be on the truck at 7.
Wow.
And I did that for 11 years straight. I had one night off, and that was Monday. All the musicians always wondered how I could ever do it.
Yeah, we did.
Wow.
But
It's a hard job.
that was hard. That's hard. This was wholesale milk too, not retail, but wholesale.
When Henry has a story that I asked him when the Bakersfield music scene started to decline, and he said when they started to enforce the drunk driving laws, and which I always thought was really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, there's a quotation I had in this interview there. He said that he says we didn't have to worry about drunk driving or nothing, because I guess they cut you guys a lot of slack because you were so well known. Is there a time when the club scene started to decline that you remember, like a specific year, or where it started to slow up compared to where it was like probably really roaring in the late 50s, and then?
Yeah, I say in the 60s, I thought, down the end of the 60s, I think it started sort of slow.
Well, the Beatles came along too, remember? They knocked hell out of us for a long time.
Yeah.
With that rock and roll Beatles
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
In fact, Buck went down, I heard, and told the Capitol, said, you either press me some records or I'm changing labels.
Wow.
They wasn't pressing nothing, and none of their pressing plants but Beatles
Oh,
records.
yeah.
That's all they were pressing. And he went down and told them, either if you press me some records, I'm gone.
Wow.
And they got him some records out
Good
too.
thing.
You bet.
Jeez.
That's a story that he gave me.
Yeah. Huh.
I don't know whether it's gospel or not, but that's what it goes.
That sounds right, because I mean they were
Oh, they were humongous, man.
yeah, they could sell 50 million records as fast as they could make them. Okay, let's see.
As far as Billy Myers is
Yeah.
concerned, Billy's always been one of my best friends.
Bill's been a good friend to me.
Yeah, Billy was always good to me. I don't think we've had a crossword.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Fuzzy Owens.
Yeah.
Fuzzy told me when he first started there, he said, John, now you're the leader of this band. If you want me to sing, I'll sing. If you want me to play, I'll play.
Yeah.
And he said, You're the boss.
Yeah.
If you want me to sing a song, I'll sing. I'll sit
Yeah.
here all night and play
Yeah.
without singing. But it doesn't matter.
Oh.
And he was the easiest guy I ever played with in my life. And I don't remember ever having any bad things with Billy and also Face.
Yeah.
Except one time when I turned around real fast with Billy Mize.
Did he with the guitar?
I hit him with the guitar right upside the head and the blood just flew.
Oh.
As I turned around with, you know, and just swung around.
Yeah.
And I was telling him about that here the other day. He was out there at that Rasmussen. Hey, you remember? I would like to.
Who could
knock-
forget that?
You know?
Gee.
Bleeding like a spell cold.
Yeah.
Just something that just occurred to me. Like Buck has the dual harmonies a lot of times when they, you know, or the what do they call that when they sing harmony? I guess. But is that pardon?
Parts.
Yeah, I can't.
There's a lead, there's a tenor, and there's usually a, what do they call it?
Alto.
You know, but like that Ray Price song when the two guys sing the same notes together.
That's just-
Oh, that's unison.
Okay.
Unison, yeah.
Was that did Bob Wills use that as a technique or I don't remember it.
I don't remember.
I never remember that.
Yeah.
I never heard that Bob
He
Wills.
never had that much harmony, did he?
I don't think he
Bob?
did. I think
No,
Tommy
no.
Duncan would
Tommy
sing
Duncan
lead,
was
and then
doing
he
all
would
the lead. And,
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes he would come in.
he'd come in
Sometimes.
on maybe on a line.
Yeah,
On
yeah.
a line, real high voice. Yeah. But
that was-
they never had harmony like Ray and Buck and them guys do
Yeah.
today. It's just Bob Wills and Texas Playboy and Tommy Duncan singing.
Okay. I'm just trying to kind of establish the threads of where
I never heard
where
any
that
kind
sound
of
came from.
harmony there. Except once in a while, Bob would throw a line in there on that one Tommy song.
Why do you love music? And
Why do I love music?
yeah, that's not an easy question.
Well, it fed you all, didn't it?
Yeah, no, but I just love to play and would still like to play, but right now I'm having some problems with the throat.
Are you?
Yeah, I can get to talking now. First thing you know, I'm hoarse
Wow.
because I haven't sang in a long time. I don't know, but there's something that my voice is never clear anymore.
You want some water or something, or something to drink? Or
No, I'm fine. But when you're singing, it don't take it very long until you're hoarsing up, see. And in fact, there might be something down there.
It could be.
You
I ought to get it checked.
Yeah,
You have medical
and your
insurance?
vocal cords and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have my throat checked to see,
You better get it done.
because it's like Buck Owens, you know.
Yeah.
And he was something wrong down there, and he finally had it checked out. So I haven't been doing any singing anywhere. I used to go out and sit in with Henry,
You come out and jam with us.
you know, when I quit playing altogether, you know.
Yeah.
They don't need us old boys don't look like no more, John.
Well,
They don't know what
Well,
they're missing. They're too dumb.
They just don't have honky tonks seem like
Like it
they
is.
used to.
Yeah.
You know,
Everything is
like-
country western line dancing. They don't
Yeah.
get line dancing, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, I think country and western has become dance music for girls. I mean, that's because it's written about women, you know, and most of the lyrics.
Well, country music, you know, they always. I heard a woman say a while ago, said, "You either dying, crying, or going away."
Dying, crying, or leaving.
Going away.
You know the story about the what happens when you play a country and western record backward, don't you?
No.
Let's see if I can remember it now. Your dog comes home, your wife comes back, and your pickup starts.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Let's see.
You either crying, dying, or going away.
Let's see. Any thoughts about was the most fun you ever had playing?
With Lewis Talley. Anything else in there? Come in, man. Angel.
You got anything to eat?
We
Oh,
got
yeah.
something else here.
Got everything. Look at that.
Boy, look at
Yeah,
that
but
steak.
grab some
What'd you
beef.
have, Ted?
No, it's some ribs. You want a steak for dinner? I'm gonna do baby back ribs.
Oh, boy. Especially baby back.
We're having a barbecue.
Yeah.
Was there any favorite time you had, or certain years where it was just there, everything seemed to fall into place, and you laughed a lot?
Well, with me, I always tried to have fun playing, but it was pretty hard to have fun when you're working two jobs.
That's
Because I was just, it was just
tired.
really a job
Yeah.
then, because you get so that you play that much, and then work in the daytime.
Yeah.
Well, it got so that it was just really a job.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty well the granddaddy of country music when it comes out in the 50s and the 60s. When they were shooting all this stuff that
Bakersfield Country.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was all that stuff. They say I was in that era,
Yeah.
and I always loved playing.
Yeah.
But I always thought I was a pretty good singer.
Yeah.
When I was in the
You know
Hatchet.
who your daddy is by now?
And when I come to Bakersfield in '48, I think it was,
Yeah.
I caught this allergy right down here in this.
Oh, Valley Fever.
Well, it wasn't Valley Fever. It was just this Bakersfield allergy,
Uh-huh.
and I've had it ever since, and it cut my vocal down.
Wow. Oh, so you didn't have the range anymore.
That's right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Huh.
And the worst thing that you can do, the best thing for your voice is rest.
Yeah.
And when I was working those 11 years straight there, I didn't get any rest.
Wow.
And that
Yeah.
that played a part too. But boy, I was here.
Two of Buck's records that are favorite of mine are Together Again.
Yeah.
And then Don't Let Her Know, I think.
Don't let her know.
Yeah. Do you have any feelings about those records, or any?
No, I didn't.
He was grinning every night at the lucky spot.
Yeah. I didn't have too much.
Yeah.
I knew naturally. I knew Buck for the last
Right.
40 or 50 years.
Right.
But I never did run around with Buck at all.
Yeah.
And boy,
You didn't have time.
yeah, I didn't have time, and but we saw each other around.
Yeah.
I remember one time Buck used to come out to Luck Spot on his night off,
Yeah.
and I introduced him, let him get up and sing.
Yeah.
And then when he recorded that first hit,
Tiger was before Tiger.
no, it was, what was that?
Buck's first hit.
That guy that wrote it, that was it Steelman that wrote that song?
Oh, Tom Lumley.
Down on the Corner of Love?
No.
Oh, you mean the big one? Together Again?
No.
Buck?
Yeah, Buck.
First big hit?
Yeah, and
Or Down on the Corner of Love?
no, that guy that was the steel guitar player.
Tom
Rum Rumman.
No.
No, this for Tom.
Before him.
Yeah, the big red-headed guy, what is he from?
No. Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, Dusty.
He wrote that song.
Yeah.
Not Hot Dog.
No.
That's true.
That
That was
was,
before Hot Dog?
oh,
Yeah.
Dang. Well, I thought Hot Dog was 60, wasn't it?
that Hot Dog was after that.
Under Your Spell.
Under Your Spell Again.
Yeah.
Under Your Spell Again.
Yeah.
Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
And and Buck told him, said, I'll record that if you'll give me half of it. He said, I won't record it unless you do. And so anyway,
Yeah.
Dusty didn't have anything to lose, I guess. So he
10% of something's better
So
than
after he,
100%
as
of
I
nothing.
started to tell you, as soon as Buck got that hit,
Yeah.
come up, he come into the lucky spot on his night off, come right straight to the bandstand,
Yeah.
and he said, "John, don't never ask me on this bandstand again to sing, because I don't sing free for nobody anymore."
Wow.
Ain't that something?
He really did. He told me
And
that.
he done that.
He did, and I never asked him anymore. He never sang on that bandstand again.
Wow.
I'll be dead.
Wow.
Yeah, but in those days, he was an SOB sometimes.
Actually, I heard in Merle's autobiography, there's that story about the check that he kept in his drawer that he didn't give to him for royalties and stuff. And Merle was broke, and it was like a check for like
Hey, I'll tell
12,000
you
or
another
something.
thing about Good. When they first started out, said Merle Haggard asked, "Will you play such and such and such and such?" And it was an ad taken out in Billboard, and it was something that Buck had to do with, and Merle didn't do that.
Yeah.
It was, he wanted the royalties on it.
Yeah. Wow. I guess
But it used to be on it.
Yeah.
I got to backtrack, unfortunately, for the part that we missed. Could you just quickly summarize where you were born and your unfortunately?
Yeah, I was.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I was born in Nennico, Oklahoma.
Uh-huh.
That's about 7 miles out of Chickasha, Oklahoma,
Okay.
and a little Indian town.
And you came,
1918.
right, 1918, and you went to Plainview, Texas after that, right? And you just mention a little bit about how when you were in school, or after you graduated, you worked for 10 cents an hour in the vegetable.
Yeah, I was in Plainview, and when I first came to Plainview, I was still, when I first come out to Plainview, I had a brother who lived there.
Mm-hmm.
And I come out and work out there and to buy my school clothes, because I was living in back in County Line, Oklahoma.
And your parents were both dead.
Yeah, my parents, I was living with my brother.
And your mom died when you were
3,
and your dad when you were
My dad
7.
died when I was 7. And I'd come out and work and hitchhike. I'd hitchhike all the way from Texas to Oklahoma.
Wow.
When I'd buy my school clothes
Wow.
and mostly overalls. Yeah. And then when I graduated in school, that was 1938, I think it was. I graduated in school. Why, I left home. I told my brother, "You did enough, And I said, I'm gonna get out my here. I said, "You did enough." And so I hitchhiked all the way back. Plainview, Texas. And that's where I was working for 10 cents an hour at a big vegetable garden that supplied the vegetable for the city. They sold to the city. 10 cents an hour, 10 hours a day.
Wow.
And from that, I went to shopping cotton for 20 cents an hour.
Yeah.
And that was the reason we came to California, on account of who was looking for a little higher wages.
Yeah.
And when I first got here, I was with my in-laws. And when I crossed that old bridge down here going into Oildale, I had 50 cents in my pocket. And I wouldn't have had that if my mother-in-law hadn't given it to me.
Wow.
And got a job picking apricots for 35 cents an hour.
Wow.
Picking apricots.
They went up, didn't they?
35, yeah. And I said, boy, that's pretty good, 35 cents. So we worked at that, and my bud came down. I never said this here to you before, but my bud came down and tried to get me to go back with him then. But I said, well, I'm my oldest brother that raised me.
Okay.
Because he had come out here and living in Salinas.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't go with him because I said, I'm making 35 cents an hour.
Ain't going nowhere.
No. And so the time passed, as I said before, that I had to take my little boy out of Bakersfield because it was too hot for him. He was getting sick. He went down in Englewood. We went down there a very short time. And then I went to Visalia, started picking prunes. Boy, if you've ever picked prunes, why, that's something else.
That's the hardest work there is.
I'll tell you. And so I finally wrote a letter to my brother in Salinas and asked him if he thought I could get on up there. And he said, yeah, you come on up. Said, at that time I had my first car, the 1928 Model A, and no top. Wasn't no top on it.
Wow.
And I wouldn't have had it, but my wife had a cousin that bought a $18 worth of groceries out of that grocery store, and he couldn't pay it. So the guy took his Model A.
Wow.
And he said, now, John, if you want a car and you can dig up the $18, you go out there and give that $18 and he'll give you the car.
Wow.
That was my first car.
Wow.
I went out there and he gave me that Model A for it.
Wow.
And that's what I went to over to Salinas when my brother.
Started touring in. First tour car.
Yeah.
Then the war broke out. After a while, you were coming back from Salinas to Plainview, and you went to San Pedro to work in the shipping yard.
Yeah.
During World War II.
Yeah.
And after.
And then failed the Army
Yeah.
when I was 26.
Yeah, he was in the Army one day. Got one meal.
Never was sworn in. See?
Yeah.
Never was sworn in.
He wasn't actually in. He never was sworn.
Never was sworn in, but I did get one meal free off of the Army. And then that afternoon, while the guys come out and said, anybody here 26 and over, what the hell are you doing down here? Just, real snotty.
Wow.
He said,
You probably been drafted.
get out of here,
Yeah.
get out of here.
Yeah.
So that's when I went to Tehachapi.
Yeah.
And that was in 1944, I believe. And I stayed in Tehachapi until like 1948. And that's when I got a job driving the bread truck.
You're playing at the hitching post.
I was driving I was playing at the hitching post up there
Yeah, and then
2 nights a week.
Wow. Okay.
And I was working at a grocery store in Tehachapi.
Yeah.
But then 1948, does that add up?
Yeah. I'm just kind of overwhelmed by the harshness of it.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have it easy, believe me.
Oh, no. Oh, I'll tell you. It's some of these places you see out here in Wheat Pass on like the Grapes of Wrath.
Yeah.
That was the kind of places we were living in.
Did you ever live in any camps at all? I mean, in the fields you must have, when you're picking.
I never did live in any tent, but I did live in those little apartments right off the bridge there right over the Kern River. There's a bunch of little.
Yeah, I remember that.
There. That's where we first landed.
Was it a labor camp or?
Wasn't a labor camp.
No,
it was
housing.
mostly people who was there were people who was working in the agriculture.
Low rent when they could pay it.
Yeah, low rent.
Were you ever I heard when people would come into California that a lot of times they'd be turned back at the border. Did you ever see? Was that part of the Depression over when you came here, or was it?
Yeah, I know. We never was covered by that.
No, they did turn people away in the early 30s. Did you ever come across the Maddox brothers and Rose out here?
Oh, yeah. I used to go to all their concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were something.
Yeah.
They were really classy.
You already showed.
But, just like old Fred Maddox used to say, He didn't know one note or nothing on that bass. He just slapped it. He didn't know. He didn't know.
Sharpe, he said, is that up or down?
Yeah, yeah.
I know it's Henry.
No, somebody tell Fred said, Fred, I believe you're a little sharp there.
Yeah.
I said, well, which is that, up or down?
Is that up or down?
He was something else.
He didn't know it, really.
I still think Fried Potatoes is one of the greatest country songs ever done.
Fried Potatoes.
I love that song.
You heard that, John?
I believe
That's
so.
on that album. I mean, that Bakersfield Country.
Yeah.
We done? Yeah, he's on.
Fried
Yeah,
potatoes,
fried
they're always on my mind.
Yeah.
Fried potatoes, I eat them all the
And
time.
Rosie comes in and sings a harmony line, do with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mess. In fact, if there's ever a Bakersfield CD, I would put that. I'd put that Tommy Collins song about swimming dogs and swimming pools and pool dogs. The one I can sing all night. That song. I love that song.
I remember it.
I can sing all night. I can sing. Hunting, hugging and kissing.
Oh, that's Tommy.
Yeah,
Tommy Collins
hugging and kissing,
Oh, no, some of them I
hunting and
didn't hear.
fishing. He marries that wealthy woman.
Remember
Anyway,
that song, High on the Hilltop?
oh, that's a great song. That's a beautiful. I think that's if somebody said,
He was right up. He's right up there, and coming down from Tehachapi,
yeah,
and come up on the mountain, and you can see Bakersfield.
yeah.
The lights of Bakersfield. That's when he started right there.
Was it a woman? Was there a woman that was involved with him and left him? Because that was in the song too. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who he wrote it with. All I know is that he saw those Bakersfield and High on the Hilltop.
Yeah,
So
overlooking the city.
Overlooking the city.
See those bright lights as they
Yeah.
gleam
Yeah.
somewhere you're
Yeah.
dancing in some
Some
dingy
dingy
bar
bar
room.
Yeah.
Probably the
Whoever
lucky
gave
spot.
it to our drink.
Yeah. That's a magnificent. Shit, that's a great song. Let me ask, did you ever meet anybody more real than Tommy Collins? I mean, he just seems like,
Yeah, I loved him, and he came down to one of those things we had down here one time,
yeah,
and I like to not recognize him. To me, he had changed. He had changed so much.
aged a lot, or
Yeah, but I like that guy.
yeah,
I've always liked Tommy Collins,
yeah,
and he was a talent too.
Yeah.
Good talent.
I think he's the most underrated guy.
Yeah. Another one is Red Simpson too.
Yeah,
I think he's underrated.
yeah.
He just hears something and boy, it just goes tick tick tick.
Yeah, he's totally unpretentious. I
Yeah.
think that's,
Sometimes people have to. I understand that according to Fuzzy Owens, I think he said that sometimes he'll get these good ideas and he can't quite finish it. And even Fuzzy, I think, used to help him some,
yeah.
But he's a talent.
Win Stewart.
Win Stewart. I never did. I saw Win Stewart. And
Yeah.
I saw him on but I never did.
You never played with him.
No.
Yeah. He had the voice.
Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah. I want to get back. You were in Tehachapi, and you came to Bakersfield in '48, and
Went to work for the Golden Crest.
Golden Crest, and
Was there 4 years.
okay. And this is a club in Bakersfield. Was a Golden Crest? Is that?
No, it's bread.
Oh, bread. Okay.
I got on a bread truck.
Okay. And then you started Lucky Spot.
In 1950.
50. Okay. And you were there 14 years? 13. And
50 to 63.
okay, and then 63, the Beatles and everything, and
Yeah.
they kind of killed the club scene.
Yeah.
So obviously there was like a change in generations too. Like the older people probably started to stay home because they had
Yeah, maybe.
families, and the younger ones didn't come in to replace them. Is that
Right.
what happened?
Yeah.
What about and you played on Who Bought the Wine with Billy Mize
Well, Billy Mize.
at Capitol.
Yeah. He just come up and heard us play,
Yeah.
and so we went. After that, we went back to the Lucky Spot.
Yeah. What about, let's see, did you get as many people coming through the Lucky Spot as through the Blackboard on the visiting musicians and stuff, or was there a circuit like they play the Blackboard one night and then they come over to Lucky Spot the next or anything, or they just tended to play the Blackboard?
They'd go from one bar to the other.
Who?
In the same night.
Oh, the same night.
Oh,
Yeah.
the
musicians, yeah.
No, the congregation.
Oh, the
I mean,
customers.
the customers.
Yeah.
The congregation, John.
Yeah, the congregation.
Yeah.
But
You're at the altar.
we
Get
always,
them all.
Yeah.
it was a rival. The Blackboard was a rival.
Old George Spence used to say there's one line in this Marty Robbins song, off to my right, I see 5 mounted cowboys, and every time I say that line, George would say, the Lucky Spot Band.
The Lucky Spot
Yeah,
what?
Lucky Spot Band.
Oh, okay.
Every time I say that line, you say that.
Is there 5 guys in your band over there at the Lucky Spot?
No, we only have 4.
More, but George didn't care.
It sounded good.
Every time he done, I fell off the stage.
Oh. So most of the people that played at the Blackboard would also play at your club. The same musicians would eventually come there when you'd book them in or something, or?
Oh, we go out and jam.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we just, they would come out and jam, and stuff
Yeah.
like Roy Nichols
Yeah,
and stuff, and them guys, you know.
Yeah.
And I never met, we had, you know, what years was it? I did about 7 years of television. And that was with
Herb?
Billy Mize,
Billy, yeah.
Mize and Cliff Crawford show.
Oh, were you on the Melody Ranch thing, or was it called the Cliff? Was it
No.
the Cliff Crawford? Oh, that Cliff Crawford came on before the Cousin Herb show, right? Like about 10 days or something.
No, I don't think so.
Cliff was on the show,
Well,
wasn't he?
Jimmy Tomlinson's show come on first.
Oh, okay, maybe that. I
Because
got
we
it.
went out, we was out on that old, out,
California 9 went way
way
out.
out, went way out, had to drive way out through Oildale out there on the hill
Yeah.
to play. That was the first live
Yeah,
country music in Bakersfield, live,
yeah.
you know,
Not live TV. You're talking live club,
live TV.
live TV. Okay.
And Jimmy Tomlinson
Yeah.
was leading that, and then we had a big Friday night house party. Remember that Friday night house
Oh, I
party?
don't. That might
We
be
worked
before.
5 days, only make $25.
Gee,
Make $25 and do a 30-minute show.
damn.
And then on Friday night, we do a Friday night house party, an hour.
Were there at one point? Were there 3 TV shows here going on, or 2? Or am I?
Live shows.
Yeah.
Well,
Jimmy had one, no red, what's his name,
Well,
Sanders or something like that.
I
He
think
had one.
I don't think Jimmy Tomlinson was on the
Not at
same
the same
time.
time, no. And then Dave Stockner, he had a live show here. And of course, Herb.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cousin Herb, I was
Didn't
on
Billy
with
have the
Herb.
trading post after Herb died for a while or something?
Huh?
Did Billy have the trading post show after Herb died for a while after? Not very long, but he had it, I think. They done a few
I
shows.
know
after
Al
Herb.
Brumley, he used to
Maybe it was.
fill in for Cousin Herb all the time.
Yeah.
And but anyway, I did 7 years of television
Wow.
in 3 different.
So you, besides working 2 jobs, you were doing TV too.
No, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't in the
Within
stretch.
that time frame. It's
But I
different.
didn't have time because
Yeah.
we did
Yeah.
the television show in the afternoon,
Okay.
and the Friday night house party was about 8 o'clock at night.
Okay.
But, that was
Whatever, high-paying job, too.
And what I can't understand is why they never did videos. Some of those, the Cousin Herb show, we didn't have any videos.
They erased it all. What happened? They reused the tape. That's what I talked to Bill Woods. He said that he said collectors come from Germany, and they would probably literally pay thousands of dollars for that.
Is that right?
Tape. It's worth a lot, really. But they
they erase it after every couple of shows. They were saving on tape. It's worth a fortune.
Oh, I bet you.
No, because you got all those early stars and a peak career. That kind of footage is not around anymore.
Ain't around. Early TV.
And the classic singers. I mean, there's nothing to compare like that today. You mentioned a story about Merle and going to Hawthorne, Nevada, and which I you,
Oh yeah, when Merle first recorded singing a sad song, then he got to be kind of well known, a little bit. I was on the Tally label.
Yeah.
And so they booked a job at Fallon.
Yeah.
And he and I were riding, just he and I, the rest of the band was all in another car.
Yeah.
And as we went through Big Pine, we didn't slow down very much. It's a little town. We went right on through it pretty fast, and then right on the outskirts of it, then we got stopped by Highway Patrol. And gave us a ticket, and then, as I told you before, we coming back when I let Merle drive, because it was about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I got in the back seat and went to sleep. When I woke up, the car was sitting still. I raised up and I looked around, and it was in Hawthorne, and all the rest of they were all gambling over there. And so I went in and walked around and just looked, because I didn't have no money to play. And that's when Fuzzy came over and told me, John, now, Merle is winner over there. I think he's got about $250 a head. And John needs this money bad. And if he'll pay attention to you because he respects you, and you're right, and he's riding with you too. So you go over and ask him, tell him you want to go home. I said, I hate to do that. I said, I really hate to do that. He said, well, that's the only way he's going to get out of here, John, with that. And he won't listen to anybody else, you. So I went over and told him, I said, Merle, I said, I think I better get home. I think we better go. And he sat there a little while, and I thought about it. Well, okay, let's go. So then on down the road, he said, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for getting me out of there with this money. And we had got this ticket, and he gave me $20. And he said, John paid this ticket. He'd run this money, so he gave me that $20. And about a couple of nights later, I met him coming into the Barrel House. That's that Franklin place, Coming into the Barrel House. I forget now who he was with. He was with another couple of guys. And I told him, I said, Merle, that ticket was only $17. And here's the 3. And then he didn't hesitate. He grabbed that $3 because he needed it. He needed it. And he used to tell me when he'd drive my Cadillac, John, one of these days, I'm going to have me one of these Cadillacs. Surprisingly, though, he has never let me drive one of his Cadillacs.
That'll take him up on it.
Hey, okay, it's time for me to drive one of your Cadillacs now. I don't know, have you even got Cadillac?
I don't know.
I think it's Ford or Mustang or some of them, I don't know, Lincoln, maybe?
You mentioned that one of the songs that Merle did, that there was a flaw, and you listened to it, and then he insisted on going back.
Did I make it?
Yeah. Stranger.
Yeah.
That's the one that, what was that woman's name that wrote that song?
Liz Anderson.
Liz Anderson.
Yeah.
And all went down. Had my Cadillac.
Yeah.
They all went down and recorded, and we got back home. He was listening to it, and he didn't like the way he said it. And when he come in on the second deal, it amazes me not knowing.
Yeah.
He didn't like the way he said it.
Yeah.
I didn't think it sounded bad at all to me. But he asked me, he said, John, let's go back. He said, will you drive me back down there? I said, yeah, I will. So then I went back, and he dubbed in that one line. That's all it did.
Yeah. What?
Hey, George, what's up?
Wait for a second. Let's give you a breath. Let's wait for a second. On your record, you mentioned that Merle and Red Simpson did one side and Merle did the other.
The record that I recorded. One side was written by Red Simpson.
Yeah.
Called "Too Old to Hurt,"
Uh-huh.
and "Too Wise to Cry." That was the
Uh-huh.
song.
Yeah, it's a great title.
Huh?
Great title.
Yeah, and I could tell you where he got the title. He had a sister by the name of Dink.
Oh, yeah? Red?
Huh? Yeah.
I think I knew her.
Yeah, Dink. Yeah, she came to Lucky all the time, and she had been going with a guy for about 4 years. And he, somewhere or another, they parted. They broke it off. And she was sitting, and at that time, Red was working with me. And at intermission, she was sitting over the bar by herself. And he went over and he knew the situation. So he asked her something, how do you feel? She said, well, too old to hurt and too wise to cry. And that's the way Red wrote it.
Yeah.
The first thing. Fuzzy comes along and talks to Red and he said, hey, Red, why don't you change this? You never get too old to hurt or too wise to cry. See? So that's the way we change it right there. I'll never get too old to hurt or too wise to cry.
Wow.
Instead of too old to hurt or too wise to cry.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and the other side was written by Merle. So, what is it called?
You're talking about it. You think of
Yeah.
it.
Oh my gosh, Second Fiddle.
Well, that's actually a Buck song.
Yeah, Buck had a song out.
Yeah.
Second Fiddle years before that.
Okay.
2 years before that.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Merle thought about that when he wrote it or not. I'll never play second fiddle. I'd rather play second fiddle than to play no part at all.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That was the way it is. Yeah, I'd rather play second fiddle than play no part at all.
Was there a point at which you knew Merle was going to make it big?
Well, I really never thought Merle would be as big as he became. Not that he wasn't that good,
Right.
but I just couldn't.
Didn't think he could platoon himself and carry that load.
Yeah, right. I loved the way he sang,
Yeah.
and but I just never thought about him being as great and big as he is today.
Yeah. When you first heard sing a sad song, did you think it was an amazing record?
Oh yeah.
How you gonna have that high note on there?
Oh, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I don't see how anybody singing there.
No, that's what I say. Yes, sir. Well, as I say, I just didn't remember that he would be that great. But
You'd lucky. He's one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, he used it.
yeah. Well, he wrote
He
it.
didn't really want to sing. When he worked at Blackboard with us, he'd come out there and
Yeah.
work that woods night off. He didn't want to care nothing about singing. He only played that damn guitar.
Yeah.
I said, well, sing a song. Okay. Seemed like it'd take him 5 minutes to get up there to the microphone.
Yeah.
He just didn't care nothing about singing. He wanted to play.
Yeah.
That's where his fiddle days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Any stories about Don Rich?
No, I will say that I think that Buckhorn would have never made it as big as he did instead of if he didn't have Don Rich. Don Rich was such a good talent and harmony man
Dirty
that
harmony.
does beautiful harmony with Buck.
Yeah.
Boy,
That's what
and
I
it
was-
just absolutely put it over,
Yeah.
you know. But,
Do you have any idea how they developed that, or where they got the idea for it, or anything? Or
no,
It's another come natural thing. I don't know.
but this,
that was a great sound.
oh yeah,
They got to like each other in the first place, and they did.
Yeah.
yeah.
If you don't like a guy, you can't sing a good harmony with him.
That was so bad when Don Rich.
Oh, man.
I think that kind of took the teeth out of Buck.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Give him up some business.
And he did his best
Keep going.
to no, they had just coming off the road, and they were all tired. But Don had somebody waiting for him down on Pismo, I believe. He wanted to get down there where she was at, and so he was going to ride that motor. And he told him, said, why don't you get some rest tonight? Rest tonight, and then go in the morning. He said, no, she's down there and waiting for me, and I'm going to go tonight. So,
Two-wheel golfing, what that motorcycle go.
oh, I'll tell you.
You know. Any other songs that came out of Bakersfield that anybody did that stick in your mind as this being great? Or well, do you include Win Stewart in the Bakersfield sound? I know he didn't live here, and I know he played a lot here, but
Him and guest star.
Yeah.
you would include Win Stewart. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Go ahead. Any people you want to praise or?
Cuz?
Yeah. That we didn't. Any great characters through the years? I guess Bill Woods mentioned meeting Leon Payne in downtown Bakersfield. Did you ever come across him? Or?
Leon Payne, yeah, I saw him.
Yeah.
I saw him, and I liked the way he sang, and what was that real good song he put out? He got out a beautiful song. And I think
My last blonde-haired women.
no.
There's one George Jones that we're all losers in life's race. But the clock never goes. It's a real sad song.
John Payne, he was blind,
Yeah.
and what was that real ballad song that he sang? I haven't heard it in several years, but it
I ain't either. That's
was
why I
a
can't think of
good
it.
song, real good.
Yeah.
Something about love. That's strange.
Yeah, you know he committed suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill had a story about seeing him in downtown Bakersfield in 1940. He was a street corner or two ago.
Yeah.
And he was going to ask him to start talking. Okay, I don't know what else to ask you. You're off the hook.
Yeah.
Ask him how much you just paid.
No. As I say, I don't know where you can get anything out of that paper that I've got.
Okay.
I'll go out and get it.
You look at it,
You can look at it, and
I can read it into the tape. You know, it's like I'd rather Xerox it, but if it's not too long, I'll just read it into the tape and then. This is an excerpt from Country Town News in 1980, and the issue is July 1980. An article by Inez Savage on Johnny Barnett. He's born in Ninnikah. It's Ninnikah, Oklahoma. Oh, okay, Ekah. It's misspelled here. He spent early childhood years were in Empire, Oklahoma, in small towns of Texas. Before the age of 11, John entertained 500 high school students in Empire by singing and strumming on a No. 3 Maxwell House coffee can. He received his first guitar at the age of 11. He loved Jimmy Rogers and listened to the Grand Ole Opry. He began with country music and still plays and sings country music. John did not come from a musical family, but he does have a son, Johnny Barnett Jr., who has his own band that can be found at Trout's 5 nights a week in Oildale. John came to Bakersfield 41, did solo acts for many years. Most of his years were spent in clubs. A good club musician can easily whip out a 2-hour concert, as many of the artists do today, but it's a different story when you're in direct contact with people who come to dance for 5 hours every night for 5 or 6 nights a week. Believe me, this audience could care less about a fancy star-studded costume. They just want to hear good basic country music, feel the beat, and recognize the song they're dancing to. Johnny Barnett, without a doubt, is one of the finest club musicians around. He never had problems reaching his crowd and holding them holding them till closing time, which is the only thing the boss man was looking at as began counting the till at 2 a.m. That's a great line. John holds the record for the longest consecutive nightclub engagement out of our local musicians union, 13 years at the Lucky Spot on Edison Highway. Starting with John originally was Gene Moles, Cliff Crawford, and Jimmy Wright. In 1977, John returned to Bakersfield, settling in Lamont. John has set in with many groups on many occasions. And is always wherever we are working. He amazes me at age 62. I think he sings even better than he did when he was 35 or 40. I was recently in the audience when Buck Owens performed at the rodeo dance in March, and what a pleasure to stand next to Johnny and watch this fantastic club and work. And as he does it, it was obvious that he appreciates his audience. He never has a lull in the bandstand. When he's working, he never forgets a fellow entertainer. Buck looked out at his audience, spotted Johnny Barnett, let the crowd know that they had a longtime friend and a fine entertainer sharing the evening with many fans. Billy Mize did the same recently at the Civic when he did the concert with the Kern Philharmonic. This should tell you folks that among Bakersfield musicians or country music fans, Johnny Barnett is and will be remembered, will appreciated and remembered. Health and happiness to you, Johnny. That's a real sweet article by Inez Savage. Wow. Did the hard times that you went through in so much of your life, not so much the times you're playing in the clubs, but the times when when you might be playing like twice a week in a club, but not the nightly grind, when you had a little more time to yourself. How did you feel about being a musician and playing and getting to do something that you love? I mean, it was more than just a job some of the times. There had to have been a lot of, What I want to know is how much of your experience as a child and that hardship, how much of that came, how did it come into your music, or is it just there, or you don't want to talk about it, or what? I'm not giving you a good question.
I'll make a good one then.
Or I'll make a good one. Does the hardship that you experienced translate into the music that you play? That's what I want to know.
Where you know you're doing that hardship?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, right. I don't know whether I've got an answer to that or not. All I know is that I have loved country music ever since I can remember. When I was even, as I told you before, when I was 11 years old, and didn't even have money to buy a guitar.
Yeah.
I would still get up and entertain people by singing on this bucket.
Yeah.
This Maxwell House coffee bucket. And so you gotta like it if you go that far.
Yeah.
But I love country, and I still today.
Yeah.
I miss it a lot. I like
off the radio. I mean, you don't get the same. Or what do you mean you miss it a lot? Oh, you miss singing.
I miss singing and
performing.
But I've always been, well, Fuzzy Owens tried to get me to go ahead after I recorded his first record.
Yeah.
And the reason that I didn't was because I didn't like the way I sounded. I didn't like the sound that I was getting. If we would have had it in a better, see, we didn't record that record in the studio. We recorded it in his house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, back over here. And there's a house there.
Yeah.
And of course Merle was there and everything. See,
Yeah.
but we didn't couldn't get
right.
we didn't have the sound.
Yeah.
We didn't have no sound.
Yeah.
And the next day, Fuzzy and I went to Los Angeles with it, and they took out as much of the bugs, as they say, out of the record to make it sound any good at all.
Yeah.
Just like some of these old Hank Williams songs you used to hear back. I never did think they had a good sound at all. They just didn't have the sound.
Yeah.
Like they just.
Back then, that's all they had.
Yeah, that's all they had. Yeah.
Even some of the early Sun records I'm listening to.
Oh yeah.
They just didn't have the equipment.
I wish you could hear this record, and then you could understand what I'm saying. That and Fuzzy tried to get me to go ahead. He said, "John, don't quit now."
Yeah.
He said, "That's only the first record."
Yeah.
Don't quit now. I said, "Well, I just don't like the way I sound, Fuzzy," and
Well, they don't have the people with them.
well. So anyway, I just gave it up right there as far as recording is concerned.
One more question. What about Bobby Austin? Do you think he was as talented as anybody, or just
Bobby Austin?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I never was familiar with him too much, but he had had some good songs, and I liked the way he sang. All right. I was talking about me on this record.
Yeah.
Now, Hank Thompson had this thing out of Las Vegas. You know, this
The Golden Nugget.
I mean, he had a radio show.
Oh.
You know, that he broadcast. And Bonnie was telling me she caught it. You know, and he said that this next song is by an old boy out of Bakersfield, and I really like this song. And the name of it was "Too Old to Hurt and Too Wise to Cry." Yeah, I'll never get too old to hurt or too wise to cry.
Wow.
And he said, "I'd like to play it for you. I like this song very much."
Yeah.
And I mentioned it the next time I saw Hank Thompson. I mentioned it, and he remembered.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. Became like.
Fuzzy says, "John, you record that song today with all the sound that we've got, you'd just be surprised how much better it would be."
Yeah.
I remember Gene Moles, he loved that second fiddle too. Yeah, man, he loved the second fiddle.
Yeah.
And but if we had the sound, maybe who knows? I would never have been a Merle Haggard.
Yeah.
But
you would
I could have maybe made some money.
Yeah.
I would love to have done that.
Wow.
I remember one time by Bonnie Owens, I thought I was going to get to go to Alaska.
Oh, Bonnie went there.
Yeah.
Merle went there.
Well, yeah, they was in Alaska.
Yeah.
And Bonnie got in touch with me, said the guy up here, rhythm guitar man up here, is quitting. And if you want to come up, I've told this guy about you. And if you want to come up, we'll send you a ticket. He'll send you, so I was going to do it. Yeah. But the guy changed his mind about quitting, so he stayed. I always regret that. I
You
would
didn't have
love
any control over that one.
Yeah, all right. I just, yeah, he's leaving.
Again. Okay, go ahead. Just the last part about your daughter.
I said, yeah, Merle sent this picture to my daughter, and my daughter was possibly 7 or 8 years old, and she had a hamster, and she named that hamster after Merle Haggard. Oh, I saw you was in Plainview, Texas.
Plainview, yeah.
It was Waylon Jennings.
Waylon Jennings is the one I was trying to think
Yeah.
of.
And again, Henry.
I was a bus boy at the last supper.
Gene Mole's line.
I sold that to Dean Moe.
All right.
All kinds of money against dogs, whipping all these dogs.
Oh, yeah?
And so this kid had a dog. He said, my dog likes to fight your dog. Oh, he said, kid, get away, I don't want your money. He said, I've got $100. My dog can whip your dog.
Yeah.
Okay, you know. So I guess that kid's dog killed that dog in about 3 or 4 seconds. Bit him right in two. Yeah. And this guy said, my gosh, what kind of a dog is that? He said, well, before I cut off his tail and painted him yellow, he was an alligator.
Okay, you want to go back to your house?
This guy was,
91 years old. He's a house of ill repute.
yeah, and this guy was looking at him and said, well, I can tell you're pretty old, but I like you, and I'm really going to put all out for you. I'm really going to go all out. In other words, I'm going to give you some super sex. And he said, well, you better let me have the soup.
You better have me a seat, please.
Yeah.
Okay, tilt that thing down. I got a little reflection. No, toward me a little bit. There, like that. There.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Straighten up just a bit. Look, there you go. Okay, looking right here. Did you hear about the Elvis impersonators convention? Did you hear about that? Everybody was so busy looking for Elvis that they missed Hitler.
Oh. Miss Adolf.
Yeah. See that nice smile just like there. Look over at Henry. Yeah, that's good. Look over at Henry.
Yeah,
Look at
your
Henry.
angel.
Look at him again. Alright. Let's see. That's pretty well good.
Yep.
You know, the one I like is,
Go ahead. Keep talking. Look at Henry. Don't look at me.
Hey, Joe,
Listen.
real boy.
this old woman was talking on the phone, and she was thanking the people for sending over the deer meat. And she said, we've never had deer meat before. And said, the kids are eating. They had a little boy and girl. Kids were eating, and said, Paul's trying to get them to guess what they're eating. And they kept eating and couldn't guess, and so he said, well, I'll give you a hint. She said, it's what your mom calls your dad sometimes. That little girl jumped up and said, spit it out, Willie, it's asshole.
He's got $1 million now, man.
Cadillac?
Yeah, I said I've seen him a lot of times when he was working with me out there. Drive up in his Cadillac at the filling station and get 50 cents worth of gasoline. Gasoline was 11 cents a gallon. A loaf of bread you could buy for a nickel, or
Damn right.
a can of goods a nickel.
Can't afford beans, nickel.
Yeah, a nickel.
Just a can of corn.
Mm.
Eat.
Pork chop 11 cents a pound.
Yeah. I remember the first time I ever seen boiled ham, $1 a pound.
Gee.
Just got stopped somewhere.
Yeah.
They don't tell them what it is now. My
Yeah.
brother used to work in the meat market. This little black guy come in one day. Billy said, "What do you leave there?" He knew his name. I said, and he said, Mr. Billy says, "How much is that boiled ham?" Billy said, "That's $1 a pound." He said, "You better give me about a pound out there alone. I'm just burnt out of that on that old ham." Just pound that alone. I'm burnt out on that old ham. He didn't have money to buy it.
Yeah, right.
Billy, he felt bad when he had to tell them people he saw that.
Well, that one's a better picture, guys. If you want to
Which one?
Of Billy, Merle and Billy and I.
This one?
No, that's a dark one.
Yeah, or this one.
Yeah, right.
What is that one there? You never did tell me what that one was.
That's
him. You know, kid.
You know, and making I was working $7 or $7.
See, he is.
8 hours a day or 9 or 10?
8.
8 hours.
Yeah. And then I moved down and got into a hamburger joint.
So you get something to eat.
Got a hamburger joint, and you could buy hamburgers for a nickel and a dime. Mm-hmm. And
Which one did you get?
always got the small one.
Oh, okay.
Now this here is a true story though. I got to be a curb hop.
You got what?
To be a curb hop.
Yeah.
So I went out, and they always, what you wanted on your hamburger, you turned it in by letter. Like LTM, that'd be lettuce, tomatoes, and mayonnaise. And if you wanted mustard, you'd say LTM mustard. See, that's the way and then you use beaver pickles and over onions.
Yeah.
And that's the way we turned it in as we come in.
Yeah.
And one night I went out on the curb, and it's 3 old boys. And they wanted 3 small hamburgers, LTM. Okay, LTM.
Oh.
Lettuce and mayonnaise. It's really popular there. And as I was walking away, one of them says, "Hey, John, why don't you put some pickles on mine?" I said, "Okay." So I went into the back door, and the place was full. It was full of people standing up around the side trying to get a stool.
Mm-hmm.
And I hollered all the way across to the guy, the cook.
Yeah.
"Give me 3 small LTMs and pea on one." But everybody stopped eating and dropped their fingers. What? Their knives and forks.
What did you say?
and the cook like a fellow with a griddle. And that is a true story, I'll tell you. I saw that old boy, that cook, out here in Bakersfield.
You have?
I saw him, one time.
Well, I'll be there.
And I mentioned it to him, and he said, "I still remember that."
Yeah, I bet he does.
Yes, sir.
Well, did you get it?
Yeah, I got that. I got to do this thing. This is classic.
I tried to get that enlarged. I wanted it enlarged.
You can get it done.
Well, they sent it back and said that writing on the back there, they afraid they'd get sued or something, I don't know, something.
What's on the back?
This is your daughter.
Well, there was something that they wouldn't do it.
Oh, because of this. this Chickasaw studio.
Yeah, Chickasha.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
Chickasha, I told you that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That-
right.
that-
Then they what?
They should. That
Then they
studio.
go.
That studio probably no longer exists. There's probably somebody in Bakersfield that would just.
Well, that's why I say that's been about 70 years ago.
Oh.
They don't even, but they sent it back and said they was really sorry because they thought they might get sued if they had that kind of.
Well, actually,
Holding
did you explain to them that? Did you ever call them back?
No, I never did.
Well, you could probably call them back and say that these guys don't exist anymore. This picture was obviously taken,
70 years ago.
Yeah. That's. I was about 6 years old, and so that was maybe 70 years ago.
You got tell Sharpe to come there?
And
Johnny,
yes, ma'am.
Henry just eats plain lettuce.
Oh, yeah.
And so Al Brumley was running the show for him. So he went to him and said, hey, why don't you let John, a friend of mine, this song that he just recorded, it's coming out, it's on record and everything. And he wouldn't let us. He said Herb wouldn't like it. That's the only thing that I,
I'd call her.
Herb was out of town.
Oh,
I was reading that he was running the show for him.
yeah. I don't maybe he just wanted to feel that.
I don't know why. I wouldn't know why. Was it?
Huh?
Been taking on the baby. He is a Tweety hoy.
That Channel 10 used to be right uptown there. Used to be Channel 10.
Oh, you mean KDRO?
Yeah, it was right there. We used to.
Yeah. We used to
We
be
on
in
television.
the old Everett Home Hotel.
We used to. Sometimes we'd go outside at the back and they'd shoot the
Yeah.
show out there.
Yeah.
Had a big ostrich there that pulled one of these carts.
Yeah.
And then so Herb wanted to get himself in that cart and let him watch him around, pull that ostrich, pull him around.
Yeah.
And so he got in that cart. We was doing the show. He got in that cart, and that ostrich made a lunge forward, and Herb went right straight up in there and laid on his tailbone right out on that asphalt. He like a broke. I'm telling you, you never saw so many people laughing in your life.
He was hurt.
And he's hurting.
You hurt him bad,
Yeah. I'll never forget that.
Here, Herbert could do anything for show, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And bang on them cars. We said one time he hit the top of the car and somebody standing. Somebody, Bill Wood is telling me about it. Yes, ma'am? What do you want, baby?
I don't know. I may ought to call that.
Huh? Say what, John?
I may ought to call that daughter of mine. Tell her I was gonna eat.
Yeah, you got it. First things first. You gotta eat a good meal.
You always gotta have a full stomach,
Great meal.
or you'll get sick.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this, John.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I don't know where I did a very good job.
No. You did great. I mean, the stories are wonderful. I just feel like it's something real important. But I mean, I don't. It's like maybe we'll be able to put out a record or maybe get a coffee table book or a CD or ROM or something like that. So to me, I'm going to give copies to Buck and to the other things in the multimedia pictures. So
I've never joined a musicians museum.
yeah.
They always wanted me to, but I just never did.
Yeah.
I should go down because INS wants me to.
Yeah.
And oh